Barbados out there, you know, like really rippable, slightly onshore, and that's Haleiwa for you. But the main thing is it's still super high performance out there. You're going to see some big moves all day.
Well, we've got some scores that have come through for that first exchange. Kanoa Igarashi opens up with a 7.67, Ian Gentile a 6.5, Shun Murakami a 4.5, and Michael Dumpty with a 3.33. And as we wait for that next set to roll, it's about what we're looking at now.
Well, we're seeing a couple different swells in the water. There is sort of a northerly direction swell that's not ideal for Haleiwa, but it's providing some consistency, which is good. You know, if there was only a west swell in the water right now, it'd be pretty inconsistent. You'd have the guys just sitting out there. Nice little sit-down jam from Kanoa, and then Kanoa is very smart. You know, we were just talking about Kaio and how he always has the right maneuver for the right section. That was a very smart floater on the inside to finish that wave off for Kanoa.
And Ian Gentile getting his second ride under his feet, connects a few turns together, smaller size wave, just getting that second backup score on for that 6.5 that he opened up with. And Kanoa is actually the only championship tour surfer that's already requalified for next year that competed in all 4 Challenger Series events. And it's been great to see him in the mix and putting on some pressure on the rest of the field. He's also one of those that's currently double qualified for the 2022 Championship Tour. He's leading the rankings on the Challenger Series, and it means that his spot in #1 on the Challenger Series, #8 on the Championship Tour from this year, heading into 2022, means that that spot bumps down on the list and goes to the next in line on the Challenger Series. And Keanu, you've been in those, you know, positions of requalification. How good is it to know that that spot's going to bump down for the next in line?
Oh, that's just, you know, that's just one more opportunity for somebody else just below that, you know, maybe needs a shot, maybe needs these guys with the double qualifiers to kind of drop down and give them, you know, their spot on the championship tour to fulfill their dream on surfing, you know, against the best of the best. So, you know, guys like Kanoa, that's actually really important to have these guys in the draw. Just because, you know, when we're sitting here crossing off names on our list, it's okay, well, at least they have a chance of bringing this guy along to graduate into next year's tour. So having, you know, somebody like Kanoa, it's hard because you can't pull this guy out of a jersey. He competes in every contest.
Hungry.
Yeah, you know, you'll see him in regional events, in these events, in the CT events. So, you know, somebody so hungry and so just eager to compete all the time. It's pretty cool to see, you know, and you can't take the best guys out of the draw. So having guys like Kanoa in these events are super, super important. You know, bringing the best surfing out of everybody, and also kind of opening up some spots for the guys that are, you know, in the 13, the 14, the 15 kind of ranking, you know.
Yeah, and Shannon, speaking of that, so we see a paddle here.
All right, so live action. Ian Gentile up and riding now. He's going to drive off the bottom. Nice big swoop to start off with. A little double pump into that floater section, and he's going to put on a solid finish. And his last score dropped in as a 4.17, so it has jumped him up into the lead. And he'll have another score coming through for that one, Ross.
Yeah, I like the way Ian surfs. He's different. It's a little bit old school. He's got sort of a narrow stance. Also sort of stands more towards the tail of the surfboard. But somehow he's really sturdy too. This kid doesn't fall off very often. He's used to the power, being from Hawaii. And right there, again, he's had really exciting turns all event, just kind of crashing into sections, almost looking a little awkward, but I think it plays to his advantage.
Yeah, I really like the way Ian surfs. I call him the danger man. The danger man because he's not super high up on the rankings, but he is a guy that's really going to take out some really big games and has the type of surfing that's going to be delivering.
That's right. He'll need, well, he'll actually improve his placing regardless just from paddling out, as we see Shun Murakami just unleashing on his backhand.
You know, I was looking at Ian's rankings, and, you know, he's way back there. But if he does finish first or second this event, he puts himself above 10,000 points. So you never know. Like, I think Seabass did that all those years ago.
Yeah, we've seen guys like Dusty Payne.
Dusty Payne, right.
Yeah.
You know, knock through these rounds, and we start to see who's going to be in the mix. Shun Murakami as well, he will improve with any placing. So just paddling out in this first heat, he's already improving on his placings. He's currently sitting number 20th. And if he does qualify, he would be the first Japanese national surfer to qualify for the championship tour. Of course, Kanoa Igarashi representing Japan, splitting his time between, you know, Japan, Huntington Beach, Portugal now. But it would be pretty incredible, I think, for nailed it, Keanu, with his love for competition being there.
I mean, for him, it's like, why slow down now, right? Like, I'm on a roll. I'm doing great. I feel healthy, mentally, physically. Why not compete? Why not continue to keep doing it? My boards feel sharp. You know, so credit to him. I'm super happy that he's here and giving these best guys his best.
Ian Gentile driving into that first turn, looking very sharp, coming into that second section as it stands up for him, and just a little foam climb to finish off with in that toilet bowl section. So Ian Gentile at the moment, to set the scene, he's sitting in the lead. He's got a couple of 6s, a 6.5 and a 6.23. Shun Murakami is sitting in that second place position, but only with a couple of 4s to keep out Kanoa Igarashi and Michael Dunphy from taking that advancing position over him. Both Kanoa and Mike.
It's just the windy of windies, and they're always surfing in windsurfing conditions, so he's used to this kind of stuff. Here goes Kanoa.
Kanoa now having a look. Nice size set opening up in front of him. Goes big, drifts the tail out, and just goes a little bit out of control midway through that turn. And he's really pushing the limits out there. Puts a second small score on the board. He did open up with that 7.67, and now he's got a few solid sets to duck dive on his way back out.
Well, Kanoa makes mistakes very rarely, and so I think, you know, I also like the way Kanoa, you know, he's very confident, and so I'm sure he was super surprised that he fell off on this. He almost gathered his board back under his feet, tried really hard right there. I think the culprit being Keanu, that was the first wave of the set. It had a little extra chunk on it than normal. Maybe if he was a little more familiar with
6 CT career heat wins. He's got a few good stats to his name there as we take a look at Ian Gentile, just finding that rhythm, like you mentioned, Keanu, just putting himself in that position, kicks out early on that wave, knows it's not going to improve his score line.
Yeah, no, nothing. That wave right there was kind of just to have a look, you know, just kind of see what it tastes like, and just let's see what this might bring me. But here goes Michael Dunphy. He's been sitting with priority for a little while. I'd really like to see what he's got for us.
All right, we had a semifinal finish in 2020 at the Sydney Surf Pro, which was that first Challenger Series event, and here he goes now unleashing again, drives up into that second turn. Nice wide wrap for the third, and just putting everything he can into that last section. You can sense that body language. And taking a look at the stats, he does need to place 33rd or better to improve on his Challenger Series points, which is a 3rd place finish in this heat, Ross.
Yeah, and he wouldn't be looking at it. He knows that it's going to take maybe 10, 11, 12,000 points, somewhere in that ballpark to qualify. So, you know, he's looking to make the quarters or better. Here we go, Kanoa, big time off the lip there. We'll see if he got another move on the outside. But I will say, when we watched that wave back from Michael, I think he was in a lower gear. I would have liked to have seen him make a bigger impression on this wave. Let's see if he missed anything. Sort of a wider bottom turn. He put himself in a shoulder right here. And that's just a nice little check snap, but a lot of sort of jabs on this wave. No real knockout blows. The judges, you know, they're going to notice that, and they're going to keep that score pretty low.
I like to say, you know, for Michael Dunphy in that score, when you are riding on like a long time, you're sitting on priority, you want to make sure your next wave is going to count. Because if it doesn't count, you can't just really unleash and then kind of come unstuck or anything. You really want to make it count and make sure it's going to be in your total, you know, especially after having that priority for a while. But
Shun
looks like we have a
Murakami.
flurry.
Yeah, we've got a little flurry of action here. So we saw Shun Murakami on that last one chasing a score, and now Ian Gentile sitting in the lead, uses priority on this one. Big floater off the top, and he'll kick out. So we've got some scores that have filtered through. Kanoa Igarashi now with a quick kick in and out. Michael Dunphy still sitting in that 4th place position, under 5 minutes on the clock now. He dropped in just a 4.03 for that last wave as we take a look at this from Shun Murakami.
Yeah, in my opinion, still the best surfing so far in this heat. Kanoa's got a pretty high score, but I love this bottom turn right here. A lot of drive, and it just so much control. You know, he's a stocky surfer. He stays super low to his board. Look, he makes that 3rd turn. So in my opinion, that's the best surfed wave in this heat. We'll see where that drops in for scores. Ian going really fast on this one, but he ran out of real estate. It was just the one float, Keanu.
Yeah, that was just kind of, you know, a misread on a wave, or, you know, kind of taking something that, you know, it looks like there's a good size wave, so you want to go. But sometimes Haleiwa kind of has that tendency to kind of run, and you're running with the wave, and by the time you're thinking about doing a turn, the wave is a little late. You're all the way at the toilet bowl section where, you know, your wave is over. So, you know, kind of just
down to 20 seconds on the clock. And there we go. Michael Dunphy with priority. He is chasing a 7.45 to get that advancing position. Big wrap to start off with. Now just patiently eyeing up that section and goes very hard on the finish. So 2 turns connected together. And here we go with the opportunity for Shun Murakami. Such a strong paddle. The buzzer does go out and he's unable to catch that last wave. So scores to come through for Michael Dunphy and a definite knockout for Shun Murakami.
That's too bad because, you know, I think we both really enjoyed the way Shun surfed in that. He just needed a bigger section, something to crash into to, you know, break into that bigger points.
Yeah, I feel like Shun really had a few moments there where it was like, you know, he had his chance. If he had, you know, like you said, a bigger wave or a bigger section or something to kind of put himself in that kind of 6 or above range for the backup score, it would have been solidified for him. But, you know, just unfortunate, the 2 guys that were, you know, closest to the qualification, they just bowed out today, you know, and I guess that's just, you know, that's just the way surfing is, you know, there's not much to say. It's heartbreaking, but you know these guys will be back and better and stronger.
Well, scores in last of Michael Dunphy. A 5.4 is his best wave, but is not enough to take him into the advancing position. Congratulations to Ian Gentile and Kanoa Igarashi for advancing through into the next round. More action coming up. Connor O'Leary.